Well, according to this, it says I'm live. Let me check my Facebook feed real quick. Load in streamer dashboard. Microsoft Java. No, it hasn't shown up here yet. Here it goes. Now it's showing up live. Dashboard. Microsoft. Alright, so we're going to share this out.
Yeah, it's working. I got it on the phone too, so.
Share on a friend's timeline. Alright, and then I'll even share it out on mine. Alright, we're sharing it out. Alright, so what's going on, guys? We're live. I'm here with my friend Tom C. Say what's going on, Tom. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
We're doing okay. Well, we've just spent well, I don't know if Tom's been here the whole time. However, I have spent probably over an hour now testing out my Intellivision that I have that I've never tested before. I bought this Intellivision. Let me see if I can get my camera over here. If you've never seen an Intellivision before, let me see if I can move this over to, hold on one second. All right. So what does an Intellivision look like? Well, it kind of looks like this sloppy mess thing over here. Lighting's not that good in here. But yes, an Intellivision was a game console made by Matel Electronics.
Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
And so this was kind of like the first console war when the Atari 2600. Hey, Nick Wood, what'd it do? Nick Wood's watching live. So when the Atari 2600 was like the new thing, or was like the king of the hill, should we say, Mattel came out with this thing called Intellivision, which was, I guess by all means, technologically superior to the Atari, but maybe, oh my God, Megan, you scared the living crap out of me. I've just been freaking trolled by my daughter. You going to bed, baby?
Yes, but when you have the time, my back really hurts. It needs to be cracked.
Oh my God, I just started a live stream, baby. You need me to crack your back? Here, Tom, talk to the people for a minute. Lay down. I'm going to walk on you right now.
No?
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it was one of the first consoles that was supposed to go head-to-head with the Atari 2600. It was also one of the first consoles, I believe, that had a 16-bit address bus, which was very unique for the time. Very unique hardware. So, but now Stevie's back home, I'm going to let him.
Do you know what type of processor this thing had? Did it still have like a 6502?
No, it was actually some sort of, it was not, again, I think it was a General Instruments chip. And it was a weird one because this is actually the first console that would be considered 16-bit.
Okay.
It had a 16-bit address bus, but I think it was still only 8-bit on a data bus, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the cartridges we're looking at right now is a classic port from a very cool arcade game called Burger Time. So I've kind of turned down the volume just a little bit. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the music while I'm talking, Tommy.
Yeah, you need to turn it down a little bit more.
All right, so I'm going to die here.
Yeah, just turn that volume down a little bit more and you're good.
Okay, what about now? Just a little bit. You got a little bit out of line there. So now I can't hear it at all.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's about 3
go.
bars. Can you hear
it? That's good. Yep.
Okay, I'm not sure how loud that's going to be on the live stream. All right, so if you don't remember Burger Time, it was an arcade game, and the idea here is to build the burgers by taking the little pieces of buns and meats and stuff and walking over them, making them fall down a level, and eventually, fall all the way to the end, right? So, how often you hear people belch on a live stream? I don't know. Maybe history's been made. That's what I get for drinking Guinness at 10:15 at night. So yes, like if you start from the top, you can kind of like start to push these guys down, right? And now you have a limited use weapon, which is a kind of pepper shaker. And that will temporarily kind of paralyze the enemies. And I might just clear level 1 here, Tommy.
Go up and wait. Go about halfway through that bun and wait.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind.
Wait for one of those to get on there with you. Now go. Take it all the way down.
Ah, so they added weight.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so now what am I missing here too? Okay, I just got a, sorry about that. Somebody just liked or did something and I missed it. Sorry, I got too much shit going on my screen right now. Hey, Brendan Donahue, he's just joined us. How you doing, Brendan? So I made it to level 2, and we have witnesses, and this is the second time I've made it to level 2.
The trick is kind of like to start near the top and then bait them to get on top of the bun or on top of the burger and let them take it down a couple levels and take other pieces with it.
Oh, I'm out of. I hit my frickin' pepper shaker and I'm out of pepper.
It's a terrible thing when you're out of pepper.
Yep. I'm gonna try to get it. And now, see, this second level, they've already mixed it up a little bit, making it hard to get to these ladders. Like, you can't just go straight up when you start off.
No, but the hot dogs are really kind of dumb. They'll follow.
I'm out of peppers.
Yeah.
I don't know how loud the game is coming through the people on the live stream. I've had to turn it down quite considerably just so Tom can hear me talking over the... Like this one here, you can go straight to the top, which is rather convenient. So what you're saying here, Tommy... Whoops, I just went the wrong way. But if he was on the bun and I moved, the weight of him would help the bun fall further down the stack than if it would have just did by itself. Is that your statement, Tom? Tom C., you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Go straight to the top.
Yep. Sorry, I was checking the stream.
Gotcha.
Turn it up a little bit for the stream. But you can hear it on the phone, on my phone, but you might want to turn it up just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, Brendan says it sounds good to him. Son of a bitch. All right. Okay, Jason Down says it sounds fine. I'm playing with the stock controller. Yeah, and because this controller does not appear that it can. And hey, if you guys want to join us, we're on Zoom. We're on the same Zoom that we're on for Coco Talk.
There you go. There you go. So now he's going to go down 2.
Yeah, how you like those apples right there? Come here, you sons of bitches. Oops. Oh, where did he come from?
That's where he spawns in. The egg is a little bit smarter. The hot dogs are dumb.
All right, I'm going to make you a co-host too, Tom. I'm not sure if other people want to join Zoom. If I just got stuck down here. All right. So the guys in the live stream say it sounds okay to them. Thank you guys for doing that. If you want to join us in Zoom, we're in the same Zoom from Coco Talk right now. I got one more burger left to drop. And so here's the thing. I bought this Intellivision console on eBay easily a year ago, and it's been sitting on a shelf. And I just, because it didn't come with any games. And I didn't even try to turn it on. And honestly, I wouldn't have known what to expect when I turned it on, because I don't know if there's like a startup screen. Apparently there's not. When you turn it on, there's literally a black screen. It doesn't even say like Intellivision. There's no logo.
Yeah, there's no nothing.
It's just, there's no nothing.
That's correct. Wait.
Is that Jersey talk?
Wait for the egg to fall you. Bring them down. There you go.
Boom. Look at those sons of bitches. Fall, bitches. Yeah, so when you turn it on, apparently there's nothing on the screen. And I got no more peppers. Son of a bitch. All right. Burger time, huh? But yeah, this one is halfway decent game. And so, yeah, all right, the game is over. So yeah, when I bought this console like a year ago, I just kind of bought it. And it also came with this little cool item here, which is the
The Intellivoice.
the Intellivoice. Let me see if I can switch this back over here too. So the Intellivoice is the speech cartridge. It's got a little volume slider.
Yep.
So this would actually snap into the side of the game console, and then it has another port here, which is kind of like a pass-through where you would plug your cartridge game into here.
That's correct.
And it's basically kind of an inline speech synthesizer. And when we were checking this out a little bit earlier, I guess Nick Marentes looked it up, and apparently there were about 5 games that used this speech synthesis. Now, was the speech chip made by Texas Instruments? Was it a TI talkie or something? I don't know.
So I don't know if it was that or if it was the Votrax people, the SP chip.
Okay. But yeah, so that was a peripheral for this. Now, I think somebody showed at one of the vintage computing festivals too that there was like a prototype computer keyboard option for this or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
All right.
There was a whole computer system that was supposed to go with that eventually, which was called the Aquarius, I believe.
All right. So here's a game that I think everybody can kind of relate to. This is Demon Attack by iMagic. Was also available on the Atari 2600. This was ported to a lot of different systems. This game is a clone or kind of a derivative or inspired by Phoenix in the arcade, right?
Yeah.
So is it just one for player 1? And I think this one here, you can just hold down rapid fire. Yeah. Son of a bitch. So this one plays pretty good. So yeah, I bought the console like a year ago. It's been sitting on a shelf, whatever, just sitting there. It's one of these. I'll get to it one of these days. Now, right before we went to Cocoa Fest in the beginning of May, I bought a lot of cartridges, a package of cartridges, like 20 or 30 cartridges I bought from somebody for like 20 or 30 bucks. So I figured at $1 a pop, I'll buy this box of cartridges. And if any of them work, at least now I have something to play. And we kind of went through those tonight, and I've tested them all. And they kind of all boot up and they all play. But a lot of these games, I don't even understand them, because a lot of these games are like strategy games. And you need like this keyboard overlay to know how to... It's not just joystick and fire button. There's a whole keypad. And a lot of these games you had to press certain keys to do certain things. And so there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve playing some of the games. But I have to say, this was a fairly sophisticated game console for the time it came out. Around the same time as the Atari 2600, Atari VCS, this did have higher resolution graphics. It did have a better sound and polyphonic music, stuff like that. It was marketed as the Atari Killer. What was that guy's name who did the commercials? George Plimpton or something like that?
George Plimpton, yep.
And who the hell was he? I mean, he had to have been somebody that we were supposed to say, oh yeah, this guy's cool. Other than a dude with a British accent, what was his cred?
I don't remember exactly. I did look it up, but you know. The funny thing was, the movie The Goonies.
Yeah.
There was the one girl that was in that movie who was Martha Plimpton. That's the daughter of the guy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was really weird who they chose for spokespeople for different systems back at that time. So he was a spokesperson for this. I think the big claim to fame for this at the time, the gold standard, was their baseball game, because the guys looked like better looking stick figures than the Atari game did. They were slightly better animated the way they ran, that kind of running man.
Yeah, and it actually had a true diamond on a screen.
You know, so they kind of set a benchmark for sports games. But the controller's really wonky. The controller is this disc. It's a wonky looking disc that it moves in 16 different directions. It's really a lot to wrap your mind around. A lot of these old controllers were very non-ergonomic. So I'm already getting carpal tunnel here, holding down the fire button with my left thumb while I steer with my right thumb.
That was the thing with those controllers, is the fire button would get very fatigued.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. I wonder if this game had the mothership, or if it just had endless waves of bad guys. Because the PC ports of this ended up having a mothership.
You know what? You're about to
Holy
launch.
shit! Holy shit! I've never seen this before.
One does have it now that now that I think about it.
Ooh, look how fiery and scary he is. Okay, so this is an improvement over the Atari, because the Atari version did not have a mothership. Son of a bitch. Okay. So this was kind of like a revolving breakout. You had to break through the barrier that's protecting the mothership.
Yeah, just get it through the hole when it's in the center.
That's what she said. And I'm out of dudes. Yes! You are correct, sir. Yes! I got to play that again. I made it to the mothership. I'm sitting here talking the shit and not even paying attention. And I actually made it.
It's a good console, Stevie. Like, you know, I think it's very underrated. You know, a lot of people don't understand, like, because it was kind of funny because this console came out secondhand to the Atari 2600, but it was the one that was kind of like right next to it. It didn't come out too much after that, and it really was more capable.
Absolutely. Part of it is marketing, but I think also at the end of the day, it's really titles. So even if a system is technologically better, if there aren't games on there that people recognize, you know, or like name brand recognition games, it's hard for a console to get sales off of like clones and original titles, unless they were completely awesome. But you got to have that game that people know and want.
Right.
Man, were they just ganking and shanking on me there, huh?
And the other downfall of this console was the controller.
Yeah. And the controller appears to be completely hardwired. So you can't like unplug it and replace it with a third-party controller.
If you open that console up, you can unplug it.
Okay.
But the first version of the console, you had to physically open it. On the second one, it actually used a regular 9-pin. The Intellivision 2 used a 9-pin.
Gotcha. Now, another thing, not only have I had this for a year and done nothing with it, but I've also had for probably at least a year the @Games version of this, the newfangled kind of homebrew version of this. Oh, that was nice. Sons of bitches. What it do? What it do?
Almost there.
Yeah, so these guys are the coming of the mother son of a bitch.
I think the next, well, he didn't make it. I think the next round was actually, I think the next round was actually the mothership again.
I'm out of beer. Might have to make another beer run. Might have to take a trip out to the garage and grab another beer. All right.
If you push 1 and 9 on the hand controller, does it pause? 1 and 9 at the same time?
Yeah, it pauses to a blank screen. Yeah. Yeah, it does.
That was the other unique feature about that console that nobody and they never really documented that anywhere, that you could do that with that console. And you would think they would have, but they didn't.
I found a slightly better way to control this now. So I've got my left hand kind of wrapped around it, and I'm holding the button in with my right pointer finger, and then I'm using my right thumb to steer left and right. So that's a slightly less painful way. But you've actually got to apply a fair amount of physical pressure to the fire button, so it gets to be rather uncomfortable holding this button in. I wonder if there's an auto fire. There is. I just pressed number 1 on the keypad, so there's auto fire. So now I don't actually have to hold anything in at all. Now, if I had the overlay, the little plastic overlay that covered the keypad, I would have known that.
It would have told you that, right?
Yeah. So that's the weird thing about this is it looks like a little phone, right? And you had this little keypad, and there was these little plastic overlays that slid in front of it. Matter of fact, I have some that came with the @Games console. And so these are what these little overlays look like. But these are a little bit too tall. They won't slide in. But what it actually was, let me switch my camera again so you can see it. It was kind of like wrong frickin' deal there. Hello, numbnuts. All right, so it's this little thin plastic overlay, and it would kind of slide in here. And there's a little slit here, right above this, and then it would kind of slide down, right? And then these little pictures would cover the key buttons, and you would know what the buttons did because it had basically a 10 or 12 range button thingy.
Correct.
But these overlays, though, these came from the At Games version of the Intellivision.
They should still go under there, Stevie.
It doesn't go down low enough, so it doesn't make lower contact.
If you run your finger from the left to the right or along the bottom edge as you're pushing down, it should slide under there also. There's a gap at the bottom, just like there is.
But the gap is internal. Trust me, I've futzed with this. I've already screwed up this overlay trying to shove it in there. That's what she said. But yeah. So every game had an overlay over the keypad, so you knew what the keys did. And so not only can I steer this, but I can steer my shots. That's kind of cool. So now I don't have to even kill myself holding down the buttons. I can just move left. Son of a bitch, it's not moving now. What the F? Oh, maybe that was a game over thing.
Second player.
Oh, is it on 2-player? What the F?
He's red now instead of yellow.
Okay. Okay, so I just pressed 1 on the keypad. That has turned on auto fire. And now all I have to do is focus on moving left and right. This definitely makes controlling a little bit easier for me. This is something you couldn't have done on the Atari. I don't think there was an auto fire function on the Atari. And for those of you who don't know Tom C is in Jersey. What exit, Tom?
Exit, up until I moved, it would be 98, but now it would be like about 82 or 89 or 90.
All right. Tom C is in Jersey, and Tom C is a professional arcade dude. He works on arcade machines in some aspect. I don't know what you do, Tom. You do something. What do you do, Tom?
I work on a lot of arcade machines. I came from the... let's see. Well, I played arcade games from the early 80s or whatever, but I started working on them well over 25 years ago. Starting with the... I guess they were kind of retro games back then, actually, when I started working on them. But I've been working on arcade machines anywhere from video games to skee balls to pinballs or whatever since 1995, roughly.
Wow. And you've got a little bit of a home arcade yourself going on. Is anybody trying to join us on Zoom, or is it just you and me? Nobody's trying to get in right now, right?
I don't think so. I haven't seen anyone.
I have one experience working on an arcade machine, and it was only just based on some hearsay, but I remembered back from the days from CRTs, somebody told me that you could adjust the red, green, and blue color guns, and that each one was a separate gun that you could kind of tweak to adjust the colors. Is that a true statement?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. So I remember somebody telling me that probably sometime in the 80s, saying, oh, if you don't like the way your monitor looks, you could always open up the back and adjust the color guns. Now, what that person failed to tell me back then was that it's an extremely high voltage device, and a CRT acts like a giant capacitor, and you could actually shock yourself to death if you start screwing with it in the wrong places. That part was failed to be mentioned. But he did tell me that, oh yeah, you can adjust the color guns. There's 3 different guns for the red, green, and blue, and you can turn the dials and tweak your screen. So I remember that statement in passing. Years later, in like the mid-90s, late 90s, I inherited a Donkey Kong cabinet from some people who were moving out of an apartment near me, and they gave it to me. And the colors were kind of jacked up. They weren't right, but I kind of remembered in my head what the colors were supposed to look like. I saw the color guns in the back of the cabinet, and I used like a little red plastic screwdriver, and I kind of tweaked those guns, and I dialed the color in, and I just tweaked the CRT tube to look like I remember it looking, you know?
Correct.
So that was my one and only time actually, there were dip switches, too. I remember that. And there was like a little there were some labels inside to tell you how to adjust the dip switches on how many men you started with, how many points to get a free man, and stuff like that. And then I said, oh my God, these arcades have been screwing us, because we could have started with 7 lives or 9 lives. We could have got a free man every 3,000 points, but they were screwing us, man. So so I remember adjusting the colors and adjusting the dip switches on that Donkey Kong thing.
Yep. Absolutely.
And that's where my hardware experience ended. These guys are freaking bitches, man. But the auto fire feature, I gotta say, is a nice feature.
There you go. One more round, I think. There you go. You're going.
Okay, so that's the hole. So it's not even like Breakout where you have to break through the hole. There is just one hole. So you got to time that shot to fun of mother effer. All right. So it looks like you just got to time your shot to get through the hole to get and shoot him in the mouth.
You have to break down that barrier. That's
you do? You do?
First. Yeah,
okay.
you have to break down that barrier that's in front of it first.
All right. So what do you say? Should I play this again, or you want me to pop in a different cartridge?
You know what? That's up to you, Stevie. I'm good for right now.
Well, let's see. You know what we'll do? We'll try Stampede for a minute. Another Activision game that was on the Atari 2600.
That one plays good on it too. Actually, that's almost a direct copy of the 2600.
Enter game number. I have slow cows. Giddy up, little slow cow. Giddy up. Now, you can't move forward. You're just moving up and down. And the idea is just to capture cows, I take it, huh? And is there a finish line?
Well, one of the side buttons I know is the coax button. I don't remember exactly what it does.
Now did I run out of time or did the game freeze?
Well, you can only let so many cows get behind you.
Oh, is it?
Right, you can only let 3 cows get behind you.
How am I supposed to know that? And where does it tell me? Where's my cow counter?
It's going to be, hold on, go ahead and do it again, slow cows. See on the top where it says 3 on the left?
Yeah.
That's telling you how many you have that can get behind you. So as one cow gets behind you, it's going to take one of those off.
I see.
And when you get to 0, it's over. Watch out for the ones that stand still. Now get down there and push those forward.
You can do that? I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I would get killed if I made impact with them.
No. You can impact with those, and it'll actually push them in front of you.
Okay. Get along, little doggy. Come here, you sons of bitches. Come on. Get along, little doggies. Come on. Ride them up, move them up, ride them up, move them out, move them up. Rawhide. Come on. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay.
Block them. You see?
Okay.
Yeah, you see how the white one started to go down. You see how
I'm trying, Tommy. Come on, Tommy. I'm fucked. All right. Lewd, chewed, and screwed. All right, screw that game. That game's bullshit. All right. Let's look at a classic. Let's look at the old Coleco Donkey Kong here. Pop in the cartridge, hit the reset button. Oh, God.
I need like 30 seconds and I'll be back.
God awful horrible. Yeah, this controller sucks. You gotta jump way in front of these guys. You gotta be way ahead of them when you jump. Very unforgiving jump mechanics there. Boop, boop, boo, boo, doo, doo. God, so horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But you know what? Monkey King was pretty bad too.
Well, Monkey Kong was a clone of the Atari 2600 version.
Yeah.
It was actually better at it.
Yeah, than the Atari was, but
Yeah.
let's face it, Donkey King was until the Coco 3 came out and stopped doing his thing. Donkey King was the best of the best.
Oh, absolutely. Do 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 do. You're not moving, Mario. You worthless dipshit. Move. Do do do. Don't follow me, numbnuts. Son of a bitch. All right. All right. This game sucks. All right. That was that. We did Stampede. We did Demon Attack. Space Hawk is kind of interesting. That's one where you fly around, right?
Yeah.
We looked at that one. That one seems interesting. Now, I do have the overlay for it, even though it doesn't fit. The overlay says I have auto fire, which is 1, and then direct or drift, and then we have smooth or quick for my turning. And then there's a hyperspace button, too, which we should try. All right, so right now, if I press 1, I'm on auto fire. All right, this is my jet. So you have this jetpack. And this is where this kind of disc controller actually is kind of cool, because you're actually, as you spin the disc around in circles, you're rotating your dude. And so you're kind of like this free floating dude in space, which is actually kind of cool for, and from the 8-bit era, to have a character on the screen like this rotate 360 degrees is kind of cool. Now, what's the other direction? Direct. So is this direct? Yeah. So this is, I can now directly control which way I'm going. I like this better. I like the direct movement. So I press a button to control the thrust of my backpack. There's like a spaceship here that's throwing asteroids at me. I just shot his ass, and these are the little bubbly asteroid things he's shooting at me. So this is kind of an interesting game for the time. More sophisticated than an Atari 2600 game.
It was more sophisticated than the 2600, and it was more sophisticated than the Magnavox Odyssey at the time. And remember, these were the only 3 consoles out in that time.
But yeah, the fact that I can like steer this disc, and as I turn the disc, I'm changing direction, and I'm kind of spinning around, kind of circle strafing, is a pretty sophisticated control mechanic for an early 80s game.
Yep. Well, I'm sorry. You know what? I said there was only 3 consoles out. I forgot about the Bally Astrocade that would have been around.
Oh yeah.
And what was it? The Fairchild Channel F.
And I can stop flying if I want to. Okay, so there's a big freaking ship here. And he's throwing shit at me. Alright. Come here, numbnuts. I'm gonna get your ass. I'm throwing freaking hurling green chunks at him. But yeah, the fact I can spin around like this is so cool, man. Like the Atari controller was a very rigid 4-directional stick. So this is a fairly free-flowing, very fluid way to steer. Yeah. It kind of sucks. It's a sucky way to play a game like Burger Time or Donkey Kong, where you just want to move in 4 directions. That's where an Atari stick would be perfect. But this game here is very well adapted to this controller.
Yeah, this is 16 position, or actually, well, what do they call it? Well, it was 49 position total. When you went all the way around the disc and you captured every position, it was actually 49 positions. Yeah, it was for all intents and purposes, it was 16 position, which there is no exact vertical. It's like an up and left and then like an up and right at the same time. So you have to account for the fact that there's it's hard to explain without doing it with a diagram.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the chart. Pull up your chart. You got your PowerPoint ready?
But there is no direct. Like if you were to take this game and just push up and right at the same time, there is no direction that's going to go take you directly to that direct diagonal. It's only it's actually the two diagonals that are in between up and left, or up and right, or down and left.
What the hell just happened? I just warped to a new area.
Did you hit that space? Did you hit that hyperspace button?
No, I did not hit the hyperspace button. I was standing perfectly still.
Well,
Wonder if I was being penalized.
Maybe you cleared a level.
Maybe. Son of a biscuit.
You see, I'm not overly familiar with this one.
No, but it's interesting. My thumb's a little sore from trying to do it. All right, so I have other. So we've looked at Burger Time, right? We've looked at Burger Time. We've looked at Donkey Kong. We've looked at Demon Attack. We've looked at Stampede. These are some games that I can actually wrap my brain around the gameplay. This was Space Hawk we just did. I think one of the other ones was this Lock and Chase or something.
Lock and Chase, yeah, that was the Pac-Man variant.
Yeah, Lock and Chase. This seems kind of cool. And I don't have the overlays for it, so I don't know what all the buttons do. Where the hell is it?
I'm not overly familiar with this one either.
Select one player. Okay, so in this game, it's basically kind of like a Pac-Man Clear the Maze style game. But I'm assuming like you're a robber and these are cops. So the cops are chasing you. There are what appear to be these obstacle doors or walls that will open and close over time. That will kind of screw with your ability to, kind of fly through the maze. I think your only weapon is to press a button to put up a temporary wall behind yourself.
That is correct. To deflect.
And there are some pickups, like I just put a wall there. There are some pickups, kind of like in Pac-Man, where you could get the cherries and the strawberries and stuff like that. Okay. So, resistance is futile. The object, I guess, is to clear all the dots from the maze, similar to Pac-Man, but then you have to actually exit the maze to complete the level.
That is correct.
And this is only my second time playing it. The first time was like less than an hour ago when we were testing all these cartridges out to make sure they worked. So I'm no historian when it comes to this. The one common theme I see here is that this seemed to have built-in system fonts. And so like the score looks like it was based off of, and it's not a bad looking font, but when you look at how big it is, you wonder how many characters across could you have gotten on the screen? Maybe 32 like the Coco?
Yeah, it was actually a very big font for for what it does, but
okay, so I just got a dollar bill. So is that like is this kind of like their Blue Ghost now for a minute?
I'm not 100% sure, but that's certainly what it looked like.
Okay, now that all the dots are gone,
Wow, yeah.
I hit the exit, and then boom, I just completed a maze. All right, I got past level 1, people. You saw it here. So yeah, I mean, I think every home console had their version of Pac-Man too, right? So what was the one that Odyssey had? Casey Munchkin or something like that?
It was Casey Munchkin and Casey's Great Chaser.
Right, so basically if a game was popular in the arcade, if they could not get an officially licensed version of it, they had a knockoff version of that game. So Pac-Man was very popular. There were lots of maze games available on home systems from the 80s. And that's kind of cool. Let's see, what else can we play here that actually works? I don't remember what Sea Battle did, Tommy. I've got one called Sea Battle. I'll fire it up.
Unfortunately, Sea Battle, to play that one, you're going to need the overlay to do that. because you have to deploy these
Forget it. This is like strategy.
strategy, and you have to deploy in different platoons and whatnot.
Now here's an interesting one. I don't know how popular card games were on home video game consoles, but Blackjack and Poker was an offering. All right, so I'm going to say I want to give myself $500. Why not? It's free money. This one required two players, so I'm going to give player 2 $500. All right, are we ready? Yes, we're ready. I'm going to hit enter on my... Yes. So what do I have to hit? Clear. 1. Okay, 5 cards stud. Okay. First card is thrown down. Dealer is showing a 4. I've got a 7 and a 2, but they're the same. I got spades. All right. So do I want to bet? I'm going to bet $5. Okay. I am not going to raise. Player 2, what are you going to bet? Let's go ahead and bet $5. All right. So that's we got one card showing right now. Let's get down to our next card. All right. Why do I want to bet? I don't want to bet. Let's just go. Let's deal out another card.
That's what here again. It's another case of without the overlay, it's kind of hard to do.
Okay. All right.
Because you actually have a hit and call. You have a hit and call button.
Oh, I have. So I got like of these 12 buttons on my keypad. I
Right.
could have.
I don't remember which one's which, but you would be able to just ignore the bet and just say,
All right. So right now he's got king high. I've got 7-2. I'm not going to get a straight or flush or anything like that. So right now I'm looking at a 10 high. I'm not going to bet anything right now. I'm going to just pass. All right, let's make this dipshit lose his money. So let's bet $55 and let's put him out of business. All right. Although he's got 2 diamonds, so you never know. All right, what's the dealer got now? Dealer's got. I want to just get down to the next hand, dude. Throw me another card. Deal me in. All right. All right, now I've got 3. What are those things? Those are spades, not clubs. So I got 2, 7, and 8 spades, but I'm not going to get 7, 8, 10. I could get a 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. Right now the dealer's looking like his king high is going to win the hand. All right, I'm not betting anything. I'm betting nothing. Let's see what's going on here. But this one required 2 players and 2 controllers, so there was no. You couldn't have played just you against the dealer. All right. So I got a pair of 10s right now. So right now I'm gonna get frisky here, and I'm gonna bet $100. 10's the highest I can bet. All right. What's the dealer? Screw me.
Now he frowned because you beat him.
Oh, really? All right, so I won. All right, so pair of 10s for the win.
Yeah.
All right, so interesting. That's 5 card stud. I wonder if I pressed a different button if I'd get a different game. Now here's 7 card stud. Okay, yes, I guess
there's a way to play blackjack, just regular blackjack one.
Okay, so pressing different buttons would play different games.
Correct.
So this was not, I don't know how common card games were in the 80s on like home cartridges. I'm sure Atari had something.
Well, yeah, Atari had Casino.
Okay. But with a slightly higher resolution like this, the game seems a little bit more playable.
Yes.
You know.
This was the once you knew how to do it, this was the better version versus this and the Odyssey 2.
Yeah.
And the Atari.
I would imagine there's people now making brand new Mylar inserts for this, reproductions that you could probably buy the entire collection reasonably priced. I'd have to look into that. And I would actually like to. I know there's also a multi-cartridge for this. A lot of vintage systems have these multi-cartridges where you plug in one cartridge and then you add like an SD card. You load it up off all your ROM images that you would load on an emulator, and you play it on the real hardware. So it's a very common thing to have this multi-card or this SD card or super cart. So there's got to be one for this, I would imagine.
Yep.
Just about every vintage system has its version of the super cart. All right, so this was Blackjack. That's kind of cool. So Sea Battle, no good on Sea Battle. Atlantis, I don't know. I'm running out of cartridges now that are really worth looking at. So I guess we'll do Atlantis. Atlantis was kind of like Missile Command, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of like defend your cities. This game was also on the 2600.
And it was also on the Odyssey at the time. It
Yeah.
was on the ColecoVision.
Right, and so you can tell already this has got better looking graphics, more colors on the screen. It's a more detailed version of the game. Because this one actually supported 2 buttons, you could actually fire from both directions. You move the pointer around, you tried to shoot the bad guys before they could bomb the city beneath you, similar to Missile Command.
Correct.
So, players 1. Okay, I just want 1 player. Why are you not taking...
There you go.
Players 1, level 0. Easy. Hit disc to start. Okay, so...
Yeah, you gotta lead them. Gotta lead them a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta lead them a lot.
There you go.
Now, some of these guys are just flybys. There's other ones that would actually shoot down a laser beam. A frickin' laser to... some of them dropped bombs, some of them shot lasers. Now, you had a minimum number of shots, too, right? Is that 50, my points? Or what's the 85?
To be honest with you, I don't remember.
90, is this how many shots I've made? Alright, so I'm starting off on a pretty easy difficulty level because these guys are just moving around and bouncing around. They're not shooting at me, they're not bombing at me. And right now, as bad as I'm playing, this is good enough, to be honest with you, because I can't just shoot these bastards to save them. See, this guy now just flew by and he's like shooting down frickin' lasers. Yeah, these guys here are now trying to screw up my city. So you need to defend your stuff on the ground. Screw you! I'm out of shots. Dude, these frickin' buttons aren't working. Oh, it just went from daytime to nighttime. You know, the day destroys the night. Night divides the day. Alright.
Oh, there you go.
Try to run, try to hide. Break on through to the other side. Come on here, son bitch. If I have unlimited ammo, I'm just going to shoot this shit. I'm going to spam these buttons here. I think in real Missile Command, you had so many shots, and when you ran out of shots, you couldn't defend yourself either. So that number 90 down there, I have no idea what the hell it's doing.
I don't remember right now what that does.
There is no auto fire. You there, son of a bitch, shooting all my things. Now, if you lost all your cities, your game would be over, right?
I'm assuming yes. It's like
and at some point in time, you cleared a wave, and then you got a bonus for how many things you got, and it would rebuild some of your buildings and shit like that. I don't remember. I don't know. All right, I'm kind of my hands are killing me, trying to press these buttons. You're killing me, Smalls. All right. So that was that. That's Atlantis. Cool game. I'm running out of games here. I don't understand how to play Bomb Squad. Blackjack and Poker we looked at. I'm gonna look at auto racing one more time because I looked at this one, but I don't remember how to do it.
About the first game that was ever programmed for that one. If you actually have the original cartridge of it, that's going to tell you copyright of 1977.
Wow.
So this one does not play very well. Oh, Artie Johnson. You know what? That's funny. You asked me about the guy who did the commercials.
Oh, George Plimpton. George Plimpton.
Artie Johnson was before that.
Really?
Remember who Artie Johnson was?
No.
From Laugh-In? The guy who did remember the TV show Laugh-In?
Yeah, I remember. That's where Goldie Hawn came from.
Yeah, he was the guy who did the German shoulder, the German soldier that would pop out of the
pop out of one of the boxes or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was actually the guy who was the guy who first did the Intellivision, and this was one of the games that he played.
Now, this was supposedly a fairly popular game for this one too. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons cartridge. Dungeons and Dragons was a paper RPG game, paper, pen, and dice. But this game was kind of made into a visual game, and it's kind of like, in a way, because one of the popular games on Atari was a game called Atari Adventure, where you moved around. What was your dude in Adventure? Was it really just a dot? You literally just moved a square dot, like 1 pixel.
Yep.
And you picked up an arrow that was your sword, and you killed a dragon that looked like a seahorse. You navigated a maze. However, the maze didn't scroll. So it was it was more, you had to use your imagination more than anything, but it was a very cool fantasy setting game. Now, this one here basically says, you know what, hold my beer, right? Because we are going to have an anime. This is the Running Man. This is kind of like the Intellivision dude.
Yes.
This is the guy. This was like their logo. This guy here. Son of a bitch.
You can't shoot a blob.
Oh, is that a blob?
That's a blob. You can't shoot them.
Okay. But with this game here, this was saying, okay, yeah, adventure. No, what is this? Is this a pick-me-up?
No.
No?
It's just like a moose head or whatever. You can't pick that up.
Okay. And the blobs are just things to avoid, I take it. Why are you following me, bro? So this game scrolled. I'm screwed, dude.
No, you're not. Go to the left. Go to the left. Go to the left. Left. There you go.
Look at that. So the fact that it scrolled, the fact that it had this kind of reveal where you didn't see all of the dungeon until you kind of went further down the hall, that was kind of cool. That resembles some of the pen and paper aspects of Dungeons and Dragons where you didn't know how long the hallway was. Oh, shit. Okay, the bat doesn't hurt me. Okay. I heard him.
The bat you want to shoot.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, and am I out of shots? I might be out of shots. There's like stuff on the floor here. How do I pick this shit up?
That's arrows. That's a quick of arrows that you can pick up in the middle.
Okay, what button do I press to pick up?
It's either the clear or the enter.
Okay, I just got it.
Come up.
All right, so now I should be able to shoot his ass. Die, you son of a bitch! All right, I shot him. Now, what is this? What is this here? Is this bird shit on the floor? What is that? I don't know what that is.
Actually, yeah, it's some sort of creature leavings. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Oh, son of a bitch!
Yeah, shoot him. Pick up that quick also now.
And so is it clear? Okay, so that's how you pick things up. Clear is your pickup key.
The opposite side, or the 0 key, when you push it, will knock.
I'm dead. Okay. All right, so that's interesting. So this game basically said we're gonna show Atari what we can do here, because Atari's Adventure is very rigid in how the screens moved and so forth. But they kind of started a genre that this one took to another level. Interesting. I think I've seen enough for now. My hands are killing me. We can definitely see this game had a higher resolution than the Atari 2600. The pixels are definitely smaller. The color count on screen seems to be a little bit higher. The sprites are better animated. One of the things about the Atari, too, when you had all your men on the field in baseball, the little sprites, they would start to flicker because I guess they were trying to put more objects on the screen than the hardware chip supported, so they're having to like turn them off in one location and turn them off in another to get that many characters on the screen.
And then you have to alternate between the two to actually get play.
So Atari Baseball was a very flickery looking thing where all your men on the field were like flashing like ghosts. Where this one here said we're going to set the benchmark for what a home baseball game should look like. We're going to have the music, we're going to have the crowd noise, we're going to have the dudes that are animated when they run and stuff like that. So this game was definitely known for baseball, which I don't have that cartridge. I don't think I've got really anything else here to really look at that's really worth showing off, because the rest of them I can't really make them play. But yeah, that was fun. And so, I bought the console a year ago, never touched it. Right before we went to Coco Fest, I bought a box of games, 20 or 30 games for 20 or 30 bucks, and figured, listen, if 5 of them work, it'll be fun. And it was fun. And so Tommy was here. Some other of our friends were here earlier helping me go through and figure out how to play them and figure stuff out. So as I was testing these cartridges, and a few of them I had to clean with some deoxit. But yeah, cool stuff. And one more, I've got over here a wall of systems. I've got my original Atari My Atari 7800, my ColecoVision. I've got the Sega Saturn. So I've got all these old game systems that I will play from time to time just to show off some vintage crap. And we're hoping to get more of Tom's arcade stuff in the mix later too for future retro talks and stuff.
That will be coming.
Yeah, Tom's working on a MAME cabinet with a custom controller, all kinds of cool stuff like that. So we're going to put this out of its misery. I'm going to press the button. We're going to end the stream. Thank you for watching. Say goodbye, Tommy.
Thank you, Stevie. And thank you for watching.
Yep, and we'll see y'all later. Peace out, everybody.